And when I finally broke out of that realization, that idea that my corporate job was a comfort zone of security, I realized that that was a big lie and I had to get past it. So the first thing I learned in that first year was how much I was really secure on that. So once upon a time in life, due to changes and issues I had, being a stupid, arrogant 20-year-old, led me to realizing, I need to make some significant changes in the way I think about life and people. And one of those was a book by Susan Jeffries called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways. And so as I had read that book and sort of adopted that mantra of the question of what's the worst that could happen, okay, what's the worst that could happen, it would lead me to situations where I figured that out. Head on, what's the worst that can happen? Well, I could get divorced. I could wreck a marriage and then find out my wife is cheating on me and flying around the country and has a different name, social security number, and is a completely different person than I thought she was. I could go bankrupt. That could be bad too. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Okay, you can hit financial bottom, and it's not the worst thing in the world that can happen. Is death the end for all things? I don't know. Some people don't believe it is. I believe, death is just the beginning of another adventure. But everybody has different ways of thinking, well, what's the worst that can happen, right? And I ran into those pretty head on. So as I got into IBM and realizing, I wanted to do something very different in life, the first year of recognition was always very different than the ideas that I had put in mind. Let's put it into perspective. I thought I had enough money. I thought this was the right time. I thought I could pull it off faster than I did. I thought, well, my wife wasn't going to get sick, but she did. I thought, we wouldn't get married as fast, but we did, like literally right before I jumped out. And then I didn't realize she was going to end up on bed rest with our first child in the first year because I didn't know we were going to get pregnant. And then she can't work anymore. And here we are stuck with no income. We went from really high income one year to no income the next. So that led into a very interesting saying that I've adopted for the rest of my life. And that is imperfect action will lead to something perfect happening along the way. So what I did was I just adapted. I shifted. I became agile. I figured out a way to get it done because it wasn't what I originally planned. And it wasn't what I thought I wanted to do, but I was going to make it happen, right? And so that was a really unexpected event. There would have been literally no other time to do it. There was no other perfect time to do it. There was just the realization that it needed to get done. And if I was going to do it, then I just had to release and go. I just had to let feel the fear and do it anyway. And So many people think there's a perfect path through all of that. Like it's a plate full of spaghetti and you're trying to string out one noodle. That's it. Like you're trying to get one noodle in a plate full of spaghetti. And if you think that you got that noodle all figured out before you go to eat that plate, you're going to find out very quickly when your meatball falls on the floor. It doesn't happen. So you're going to have to just take that leap of faith. You're going to have 80% of the understanding, and then the 20% can be painful. It could be opportunity, but it certainly isn't windfall. And that's the thing I want most people to understand about any business venture. You cannot go into this with a home run mindset. All right. You can't go into this with a lottery mentality, scratch sniffer mindset. You must understand that the odds are stacked against you. So the best thing you can really do is figure out who to align yourself with. Get very smart at the networking component, coaching or mentoring, understand who's really doing it and who's not doing it, align yourself with them, and then repeat their processes.